My girlfriend's family thought I was using her for money, until they realized they were freeloading off me. When Sophia and I moved in together, her family was convinced I was some kind of freeloader, and the reason was honestly pretty simple. Sophia had a great job while I never went outside, sat on my computer all day wearing the same hoodie. So her family just made assumptions that I was just poor and living off of her. Her aunt once asked me, completely seriously, if I planned to start contributing more. Her uncle asked what my backup plan was if Sophia got tired of supporting me. Even Sophia's dad made comments about how lucky I was to have found someone willing to take care of me. Sophia would defend me every time, but people believe what they want to believe. And to be honest, I didn't really care. Over the years, I had started multiple SaaS companies. I wasn't billionaire rich or anything, but I was comfortable enough that I didn't need a traditional job. I never talked about it because money conversations are weird. Sophia's family would every once in a while come over for a few weeks because they loved the mountain air here. They'd live here like it's their own house. One afternoon, her aunt asked Sophia how much rent I paid. The whole table got quiet. Sophia looked confused. Then she said, "Rent?" Her aunt nodded. Sophia smiled and gently replied, "The house is bought." "Completely?" her father asked, surprised. Sophia simply nodded and sipped her tea. There was absolute silence. Everyone was confused. Her uncle thought she was joking. He said, "I know your job pays good and all, but..." Sophia cut him off. "But I didn't buy it. Jason did." Then she casually added, "He's a millionaire of sorts." Utter silence. They all realized something terrifying. They were living in my house, consuming my electricity, eating my food, all while complaining that I was a freeloader. I didn't need validation or approval, but I was glad Sophia shut them up for good. I just sat there in the corner, reading my book. It was almost ready to be published. Second story. My boss humiliated me every day until one day, he realized that I was actually his boss. So I work for a grocery delivery company. The company doesn't actually own most of its warehouses. It rents them from property owners because warehouse space is insanely expensive and hard to find in this part of the city. Each warehouse gets its own manager who oversees operations. When I first started working there, our manager was great, friendly, competent, easy to work with. Then he got promoted and transferred. The replacement was the complete opposite. The new manager seemed obsessed with proving he was the smartest person in the room. From day one, he singled me out. I learned things pretty quickly, and after working there for a year, I knew the warehouse pretty well. Whenever a problem came up, coworkers would often ask me for help. For whatever reason, that seemed to bother him. He'd constantly take little shots at me. "Thomas, you look experienced until you open your mouth," or "Your head is filled with dung, you know that," always with a laugh afterwards. So if you got offended, suddenly you were the problem. I never argued back. I needed the job. He was my manager. So I just kept my head down and worked. Then one morning, Mr. David came by. Mr. David owned the warehouse. Because warehouse space is so valuable around here, our company practically bends over backward to keep owners happy. Managers are usually extra polite whenever they visit. Apparently, my manager wanted to look tough that day. As soon as Mr. David walked in, he pointed at me and said, "Thomas, get some tea for Mr. David, you useless rat." The entire warehouse went quiet. Even I was surprised. He'd insulted me before, but never that directly. Mr. David looked at him, then at me, then back at him. "If he's not working the way you'd like, you can say that respectfully," he said calmly. "You don't have to be disrespectful." My manager immediately started backpedaling. "Oh no, sir, it's just a joke. We all joke around." Mr. David completely ignored him. Instead, he turned toward me. "You know," he said, "I respect your decision to be self-made, even if I don't understand it." The warehouse was silent. Then he continued, "I can pay for college if you want. You don't have to work jobs like this." Everyone was staring now. "I'm here for you." I didn't know what to say, so I just shrugged and replied, "I know, Dad, thanks. I've never seen a human being lose color that fast." My manager looked like somebody had unplugged him. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came out. Dad just patted me on the shoulder. "We'll talk when you get home." And then he walked off. The manager disappeared into his office for the rest of the day. At lunch, my coworkers couldn't stop laughing. One of them literally had tears in his eyes. "Dude," he said, "this whole time you've been getting yelled at by a guy working inside your family's building." Technically, he wasn't wrong. I laughed it off. My manager never made another joke about me after that. Third story. My parents made me pay rent until I bought the entire house. I was the middle child and in my family's eyes the least important one. There was my older brother David, the golden child who could do no wrong, and my younger sister Angela, whose mistakes were always excused because she was still young. I, on the other hand, was the family's punching bag. I wasn't a bad student or a troublemaker. I was just average. Unfortunately, average meant invisible next to David. He got a brand new car for graduating high school. Angela was constantly showered with gifts. Whenever I wanted something, I got the classic, "Money's tight, maybe next year." David wasn't openly cruel like my parents, but he was always embarrassed by me. Angela was kind, but kids tend to copy what they grow up around. School wasn't much better. Teachers compared me to David. Girls only talked to me because they wanted to get closer to him. I had no real friends. On my 18th birthday, my dad asked if I'd found a job yet. "Don't worry, you can keep living here," he said, "but you'll have to pay rent." That was the moment I knew I needed a way out. I started working part-time jobs and saved enough money to buy a decent PC. I tried freelancing, content creation, drop shipping, everything. Nothing worked. Eventually, Eventually, I became obsessed with learning how people made money online. I spent so much time researching that I knew more than most creators talking about it, so I started making videos myself. The first 50 videos got almost no views. I kept uploading anyway. Then one day, some old videos started taking off. A few went viral. Within months, I was making hundreds of dollars a day, then thousands. I told nobody. Every day, I'd sit at the dinner table getting mocked by my parents while quietly earning more than either of them. I invested aggressively. Stocks, crypto, real estate, bonds. Some investments crashed, others exploded. Over time, my portfolio snowballed. A few years later, I was a multi-millionaire. I still worked retail during the day while building businesses at night. I hired teams, expanded my content brands, and launched several software services. Then things changed. David got laid off. His company cut hundreds of employees, including him. He and his girlfriend needed somewhere to stay, so my parents decided I should move out to make room, so I did. They seemed surprised that their failure of a son could afford it, but they assumed I was crashing with friends. Then the layoffs got worse. My mom lost her job. My dad lost his too. Suddenly, they were trying to support 5 people and pay Angela's college tuition. Eventually, they decided to sell the house and move somewhere smaller. Without telling anyone, I hired a lawyer and bought the house through a third party. I even paid above market value so nobody would ask questions. On moving day, while everyone was packing their things, I showed up with a suitcase. Then I started unpacking. Everyone stared at me. My dad finally said, "Jason, you can't stay here. We sold the house." I looked at him, smiled, and said, "I know, I bought it." The room went completely silent. Then I added, "Don't worry, you can stay here, but you'll have to pay rent."